while many have welcomed the arrest of those implicated in state capture and corruption, these latest reports seem to have thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. Let's speak to the political analyst Lukhona Mnguni now. Lukhona, good evening to you. Thanks for your time tonight. There's been huge speculation around whether Ace Magashule would actually be arrested. Do you think the NPA could actually go through with it?
Well, Stephen, good afternoon. If the NPA has a watertight case and it believes that it can stand in a court of law and they are ready to prosecute, yes, then they can go ahead with it. But I think in terms of the speculations you are talking about, it seems one of those has been achieved to keep us talking about this and make it a national discourse issue, and then almost scare those who might have to act in future on an arrest warrant against Ace Magashule by making them realize how much it makes the nation restive in a way, and therefore they must tread carefully. So I suppose we might be playing right into the hands of the boy in this instance, Steve.
I mean, if they do go ahead and arrest Ace Magashule, what happens in the ANC?
Well, in the ANC, all these resolutions they've been talking about would be tested. So whether the Secretary General would appear in front of the Integrity Commission, you know that the Deputy President did appear before he was sworn in, and there's still some sense of disagreement between what he claims were the outcomes of the Integrity Commission versus what the Integrity Commission reported to the National Executive Committee not so long ago. But he was allowed to go on and be sworn in as Deputy President. So Ace Magashule might use that as a crutch to hang on to his position. You know that, Stephen, it would probably be the first time since 1991 that a sitting Secretary General of the ANC would have to step down. We saw what happened to Kosatu when that move happened with Zwelinzima Vavi, because it almost triggers an early conference, because that's an elected position, and it really creates divisions within the organization, because that's a very powerful position, and then people will want to interpret it, even if it is not the case, in political terms, that he was arrested because nobody ever wanted him in that position from day one since the Nasrec conference. So it will create serious political divisions within the ANC, and I think it will be a test of time as to how far the ANC is willing to hold those that are in highest positions accountable within its ranks.
I mean, imagine this. Ace Magashule refuses to step down. So every interview with every ANC deployee in every format will end up being about this one thing. I mean, wouldn't it actually make the ANC, it would put the ANC in a position where it's all very hard to govern. Everyone will just be talking about one person all the time. I mean, we already are.
Well, we already are, and of course we have seen some level of defiance even in lower ranks. I mean, you'll remember how long it took for Zandile Gumede, for example, to be recalled just as mayor of eThekwini. It's even another thing to get her to be relieved of representing the party across board. She just recently appeared before the Provincial Integrity Commission. So yes, it would escalate the matter when it is now Ace Magashule involved, and people will definitely look up to that. And we've seen, Stephen, I mean, in some instances, the Integrity Commission's recommendations not holding. If you look at the issues of VBS in the Limpopo province with some of the ANC officials. So in actual fact, it attests to how the ANC has crippled its disciplinary structures and opted for the Integrity Commission to be the place where people go to either clear their name or not, and which still is found wanting in terms of its constitutional powers and its ability to enforce its resolutions, unlike the very well-articulated disciplinary structures within the ANC. And I often say this route of the Integrity Commission is created for the elites of the ANC to escape being held seriously accountable for bringing the organization into disrepute and possibly face suspension or expulsion from the organization.
And then there's the issue of support in the ANC for Ace Magashule. I mean, it doesn't seem to me that he has the support that, say, then President Jacob Zuma did, if you go back to 2005, 2006, into 2007 and 2008. This is a very different situation. Magashule is quite a divisive figure. At the same time, though, if you look through the NEC, perhaps where it really matters, he would seem to have quite some strong support.
Well, he might not have overwhelming support in terms of a majority within the NEC, but definitely has enough support to hold an NEC meeting at ransom if an NEC meeting were to be convened to consider him being relieved of his duties for a particular time until such a time that whatever allegations he would be facing, of course he faces none now, but if he were to in future face allegations, if such an NEC were to be convinced, Stephen, it would be really difficult for it to get to a conclusion, partly because some people understand if he were to vacate that seat, it might not be so easy for them to, have access, direct access to structures of the ANC, which becomes important for the next elective conference of the ANC. However, Stephen, while he might not have over, if this becomes a genuine fight against corruption that attacks all people across the factional divide, you must see a realignment, a reconfiguration of alliances within the ANC with the common purpose of trying to get rid of those who are in an earnest fight against corruption. Because we do know many people who have supported even President Ramaphosa towards Nasrec have been alleged to have committed some wrongdoing and malfeasance within the management of state resources.
Lukhona Mnguni, Political Analyst, really appreciate the time. Thanks very much indeed.